So, as soon as I got back into doing videos, I kind of fell off them. That was unfortunate. Let me explain. All of my fandoms imploded. Plus, like the pandemic, an election, and America literally being on fire. But fandom, guys, it's been really hard. Things have been rough in the real world. At times like this, we like to turn to our fictional universes for comfort, and right now, it seems like mine aren't very comfy. If you're watching this channel, you probably like a lot of those fandoms too. And you might be having the same sort of problems. So I thought I'd take a look at fandom rough patches. How do you cope with not feeling like a fan of your fandom? Problem 1. You hated the last installment. Your favorite franchise came out with something new, and you hated it. Yeah, this has happened to me. I feel this one. I feel it hard. I have for a year, give or take. And I know that there are people out there who have felt that for parts of franchises that I've personally loved. So when it comes to coping with this, well, this one really depends. How invested were you in that particular storyline? How much emotional energy did you devote to what you thought was going to be a stunning ending to a saga you've loved your entire life and was so desperate to have a happy ending for the characters you loved and wanted to see safe and happy? And why, Ben? Why? Okay, I'm good. If you're going through this, I'm really sorry. Obviously, I know what this is like. I've gone through it with multiple fandoms, and it sucks. But of all of the fandom problems, it's the one that's kind of the easiest to deal with. It's something you can totally manage. First things first, the people who like it, let them like it. People have different opinions. The creators just happen to make something that appealed to people who aren't you. Other people are allowed to enjoy stuff that you don't. I'd say don't complain, but who am I kidding? I complain all the time. Why, Ben? Why? Express your discontent at appropriate places and times. Complain about it to your friends, rant on your podcast, maybe make a couple of running gags in your YouTube series, but don't make it your full-time job. It's fine to be disappointed with something. The important thing to remember is that the world doesn't stop just because you didn't like a movie. It's also not going to be stricken from canon if you create a petition on change.org. And please don't come up with conspiracy theories about how it doesn't count or how the person that created it is going to be fired despite making millions upon millions for the company employing them. Take a step back. Go back to the parts of the franchise that appealed to you. There was obviously something that you liked, obviously, or you wouldn't care so much. Focus on that. For most of the major fandoms out there, something else will come out. Yeah, I'm still butthurt over Rise of Skywalker, but at this point, that's not even the most recent thing in canon. We have had The Mandalorian and The Clone Wars, and I loved both of those. There's going to be more coming out, and some of it I'm going to love, and some of it I won't. And if there's no canon happening, make up your own story. Yeah, I'm talking about fan fiction. The awesome thing about writing fan fiction, that whatever you want to happen, that's what happens. It doesn't matter how ridiculous. You could have the Kaminoans clone Obi-Wan Kenobi only for the spirit of the real one to inhabit the body, and for Luke to manifest as a Force ghost to comfort his lover Ezra, and then become recorporealized by an unexplained quirk in the Force, all while Ben Solo tries to redeem himself and earn the love of Rey. For a very specific example. The point is, disappointment sucks. And you can cope by enjoying the stuff in the franchise you already did, and by creating things that just kind of ignore the things that you're not into. With these huge franchises, they're going to keep going, and odds are is that something will happen that you like again. You just have to be patient. Problem 2, toxic fandom. This one can be tied to the first. If there's a particular installment of a franchise that's polarizing, it can make the fandom kind of unbearable to be in. And the truth is, these days, everything is kind of polarizing. So this is going to be an ongoing problem. If you're going to be in a fandom, you're going to have to deal with toxicity. I don't think there exists a non-toxic fandom. It's about limiting your exposure to the toxic elements. So, how do you limit your exposure? Don't engage. If there are people who are hating on stuff you like in fandom, don't argue with them about it. And that's how I know it doesn't work. I've done it. I've been involved in ship wars. I've debated if characters were Mary Sue's and if one movie was better than another. I've manned the canon. Do you know how many people I've convinced to change their mind? None. So instead of battling with people, create your fandom safe space. Find people you get along with. I'm not saying people you totally agree with. That can actually be kind of unhealthy. You get to be in an echo chamber where everyone agrees with one another, and then if you end up meeting someone who doesn't agree with you, it becomes a battle. But find people with similar temperaments, people you can talk to about fandom, and if you don't agree on things, you won't end up burning down social media. And if you happen to agree on things, cool. It's nice to be able to share things you like. But don't melt down if you disagree. But you're going to have a time when you come across fans who are not as chill as you. And it can get scary. I've seen doxing. I've seen death threats. Racial slurs thrown at my POC friends. I've had misogynistic and queerphobic slurs thrown at me. It's awful. It's not fun. But the important thing is to not do it. Don't throw it back. Don't fall to their depths. Whatever social media platform you're on, report them. There are rules against harassment. Make liberal use of the block function. You don't have to see what they're saying. This stuff is going to happen, but you can minimize your exposure and try not to add to it. Remember, you come to fandom for your enjoyment. You want to discuss and create things for things that you like. If you're exposing yourself to all this negativity, you're going to find yourself liking fandom less and less, and it's not going to feel like a nice distraction from all of the horrible real-life stuff that we can't get away from. So treat people the way you want to be treated, and if you're not getting treated that way back, cut that person out. You don't need that stress. Problem 3, the problematic creator. And here we are. The hardest problem to deal with. This is a bit of a nuanced discussion because problematic is such an all-encompassing term. So to start off, if you're involved in a fandom, someone involved in creating that work was an asshole. It's a fact. Maybe your fandom is a book and you'll be lucky and you'll have an author who's a saint. But if you're talking about a fandom with writers and actors and directors and 1,000 other people, yeah, someone is being an asshole there. What you have to ask yourself is the bad behavior of this person enough to get me not to engage with that fandom? I'll give an example. It's been widely reported that Joss Whedon was abusive to actors on the set of Justice League. His ex-wife also came out with a letter a few years ago about how he gaslit her during their marriage to hide his numerous affairs. Joss Whedon is an asshole. I know he's an asshole. But I still love Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. I acknowledge what he did was awful, but I can still enjoy something he created because honestly, a director being an asshole on a set and lying to his wife is really not surprising behavior to me. I don't think it's okay, and if it's a deal breaker for you, I understand. You can like something by someone that's a crappy person, but don't put that person on a pedestal. But there are things that are deal breakers for me. And even if I absolutely love a fandom, I can't in good conscience consume that media any longer. I've gone through this recently. I think a lot of people that are watching this video might have gone through that recently. Of course, I'm talking about J.K. Rowling. I won't go into all of the details because you probably know it already. J.K. Rowling has expressed some very transphobic views. This is something that's a deal breaker for me. Spreading hate speech against a marginalized group is not something I can condone. I can't be a fan of that work anymore. And before you say, oh, Emcee, you don't like Harry Potter as much as you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's not... Is that true? Okay. You know when you ask your mom which sibling she likes better, and she said, I like you both in your own special way. That's kind of how I felt about Harry Potter and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I loved Harry Potter. I loved it. I made this. I wish I could still love Harry Potter, but I can't. Some other people have been a lot more eloquent about this, and I'll post links below. Jessie Gender and Council of Geeks, in particular, have done very good analysis. But this is the deal. When you find something problematic about a creator, you have to figure out where your line is. It's a personal thing. If someone does enjoy something from a problematic creator, don't attack them over it. That ties back into toxic fandom. Just figure out what you need to do in response to a problematic creator. Maybe it's still consuming their work while being critical of their methods. But you might have to cut yourself off from that work if you're not comfortable with the person who profits off of it. This is the thing I've been dancing around with through all of these problems. With every single one of them, there's a breaking point. It's possible these problems will be too big for you to keep enjoying the fandom. Whether it be a toxic canon, a toxic fandom, or a toxic creator, the best thing for you might be to peace out. Fandom's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun with it, you have to take a step back. Don't force yourself to enjoy something just because you did before. And just because you're not actively engaging in a fandom doesn't mean you have to hate on it. You can still have fond memories of a fandom that you're not in anymore. In the 25 years I've engaged in fandom, I've been in... carry to... a lot of fandoms. And I've let some of them go. Some of them I came back to, and others I didn't, because I didn't need them any longer. I'm a huge nerd. I love my fandoms. My fandoms inform me, but they don't define me. What has always mattered to me about my fandoms is the people I met in them. My friends in the Star Wars fandom are going to be patient with me while I get over my upset with The Rise of Skywalker. The friends I met in the Sherlock fandom are going to understand why I stopped engaging with the fandom because of all of the infighting that happened. And the friends I met in the Harry Potter fandom are going to stand with me and wonder what we do now that we can't like the thing that we did. The way I've engaged in fandom has always been creating. I've done it in dozens of ways. This is one. Even if I'm not a part of a fandom anymore, I'm still proud of the things I made for it. I may look back one day and say, wow, I forgot I wrote a fanfic for Honey or Dango. But I'm still proud of it. I'm proud of the millions of words I've written, the hundreds of drawings I've done, the dozens of podcasts and videos I've made in every fandom I've been in. Even if the fandom has let me down in the end. And the thing about nerds is they're going to keep nerding. If we fall out of one fandom, odds are we're going to find another to pick up. Yeah, I've been busy while I've been in quarantine. Just wait until the next video. So, thank you for indulging me in this extended therapy session. I do have some more videos on the way, so please subscribe, get notifications, and follow me on social media. If you want to support me, you can go over to my Patreon. The support helps me keep creating all of this stuff. So I'll see you next time, and may the Force be with you.